Hey everyone, we're back again today to talk about geology. And today we're going to talk about a topic that, as a Coloradan, is very near and dear to my heart. We're going to talk about mountains. Or more specifically, we're going to talk about how mountains form. So, unless you've been living under a rock in the middle of rural Nebraska, you know what a mountain is. Big rocky structures rising high into the air, like a hill, but bigger. But you might not be aware of exactly how mountain ranges form in the first place. So remember all the way back to my video on plate tectonics, linked in the description. There are three types of plate boundaries: convergent, divergent, and transform. Most mountain building events occur at convergent plate boundaries, and there's a number of ways they can form. Volcanic mountain ranges like the Cascades of the northern US form at convergent plate boundaries between oceanic and continental crust. Oceanic crust is denser than continental crust, so when they collide, the oceanic crust is pushed under the continental, creating what we call a subduction zone. The friction, heat at this lower depth, and the addition of volatile water causes portions of this oceanic crust to melt. The molten rock then bubbles up through the continental crust, erupting at the surface to form volcanoes, ultimately resulting in the formation of a volcanic mountain range. Another type of mountain range is the fold mountain range. Fold mountain ranges, like the Himalaya, form from convergent plate boundaries, like the volcanic ones, but between two continental plates. Now, much like with volcanic ranges, the denser plate will still subduct under the less dense plate, but this time the plates buckle and fold as they push past one another. This creates a big mass of relatively low density continental crust that is pushed upward as it sort of floats on the dense mantle rock, lifted up by buoyancy. And these uplifted folds form mountains and hills. And then lastly, we've got block mountains. Block mountains are a little different from the others because they don't have to form at convergent boundaries. Now, block mountains, like the Sierra Nevada, are formed via faulting rather than folding. In areas high in faults, rather than folding, the rock will break into large chunks around fault lines. Block mountains come in two forms: lifted and tilted. Lifted block mountains are formed by a block of rock being uplifted relatively straight upward by tectonic forces. These mountains have relatively flat sides and are usually flat on top, and can be formed either by the side blocks moving down relative to the middle block to form a singular mountain, or the middle block moving down relative to the side blocks, forming a rift valley bounded by two block mountains. Tilted block mountains are mostly the same as lifted, except they were uplifted at an angle due to imbalance in the cracking on either side. These mountains will have one side that is much steeper than the other. Now, as usual, I've simplified things a lot for this explanation, and real-world geology is never quite this simple. But I hope this was at least an adequate explanation of the basics. So, mountains can be formed in a few different ways. Volcanism, folding, and faulting of rock are all capable of forming mountains. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and maybe even consider subscribing. If you'd like to suggest a topic for a future episode, leave a comment. Till next time.